And it makes me very upset. It has for a number of years. And I just want to thank you for making that brilliant comparison and going back and researching that. And I appreciate that you always do that. And I love you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I love what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, very much. Appreciate your call. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go through the speech excerpts again from last night on Al Gore's sister, but you by now have heard about them, where he, for 7 minutes, spoke of the tragedy of his sister's death. She died in 1984. And you just recall how horrible it must have been, and it was, based on what he said last night. 4 years later, in 1988, he's running for president. And he's seeking votes and campaign contributions in North Carolina, a tobacco state. He's speaking to North Carolina tobacco farmers. I quote from his speech. "Throughout most of my life, I raised tobacco. I want you to know that with my own hands, all of my life, I put it into plant beds and transferred it. I've hoed it, I've dug in it, I've sprayed it, I've chopped it, I've shredded it, spiked it, put it in the barn, stripped it, and sold it." 4 years after his sister's death. Now, some might want to say, well, he's grown. The tragedy hit him even after that. But Rushy's eventually done the right thing. If Bob Dole had not said anything about tobacco not being addictive, I'll guarantee you these people would not even be talking about tobacco at this convention. That is my take. Or if they were talking about it, they wouldn't have made it the focal point of last night. Not by a long shot, my friends. They think they've got an opening here because Dole has expressed a weakness on it. And Lynn was right. In his book, In Earth in the Balance, Al Gore actually says the automobile poses a greater threat to mankind than nuclear weapons. And I haven't read that book in a long time. I can't recall. In fact, you know what might be fun to do? You guys, we have a copy of that book around there somewhere, and if we don't, we can get it. Go to the index of that book and see what is written about smoking and tobacco. Of Earth in the Balance. Do that as quick as you can and let me know and bring it in, because I'm telling you, I don't know what's going to be there. I can't recall. He may be railing against tobacco in that book, but that book is what's that book? 4 years old? 4 or 5 years old? Yeah. So blatant. Yeah. Well, that book was written in enough time for the Unabomber to read it and get some ideas. Or to be inspired by it. So Lynn's right. There's tremendous amount of hypocrisy. You just have to imagine. Folks, you're being conned here. I mean, you just have to. And do you care? Here, they're showing you how they're coming after you, and you have to decide whether or not you feel insulted and respected, or whether or not you feel proud to be approached in this way. We got to go. Time's flying by. It's 800-282-2882. It's the Rush Limbaugh program. Back with our final segment in the hour in a jiffy.
You're listening to the EIB Network. There are many opportunities in today's financial world, but Blanchard & Company, America's precious metals firm, can offer you the cheapest way to buy the only investment that has been secure for 5,000 years, gold. Gold is the only investment that has outlived entire civilizations and withstood the tests of war, inflation, depression, and financial panic. Blanchard & Company is America's largest, most respected precious metals firm, serving the needs of 90,000 investors around the world. If you read the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, or Investor's Business Daily, you've seen Blanchard's ads offering 24-karat pure gold maple leaf bullion coins at just 1% over cost. It's the cheapest way to buy gold. For centuries, gold has stood solid as a safe store of value because it is not dependent on the success of a particular company or industry or any government's promise to repay. Call Blanchard & Company at 1-800-999-4497 to invest in gold at 1% over cost. 1-800-999-4497. Call now, 1-800-999-4497.
Yeah, just one taste is all. That's all it
And McCall's Barbecue and Seafood. McCall specializes in barbecued pork cooked fresh daily. We do chicken and seafood the way you like it. Don't forget our famous buffet every day. Join us at our Goldsboro location and at our new location on Highway 50 north of Cape Cod and near Emerald Isle. You can enjoy great seafood and all your country favorites when you're at the coast. Plus, both locations offer convenient walk-in or drive-through takeout. McCall's Barbecue and Seafood. Goldsboro and now on Highway 50 north of Cape Cod and near Emerald Isle.
Join 1150 WGBR Monday through Friday mornings for Soundscope, a feature presentation of WGBR. Since 1956, this radio station has brought this program highlighting the people of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Join Bob Hill for friendly interviews starting at 6:45 Monday through Friday mornings and meet the people of the 4th Fighter Wing. Being brought to you by Deacon Jones Lincoln Mercury in downtown Goldsboro. From the WGBR Community Affairs Desk, Wayne Community College has rescheduled an EMT training class from Monday, August the 26th at 7 p.m. to the new date, Monday, October the 21st at 7 p.m. They'll be meeting in room MSS 209 on the campus at Wayne Community College. If you need information, 735-5151. Ask for extension 233. Hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 WGBR. Welcome to WGBR's new season of Tar Heel football. 1150 WGBR is going to all the games. And you're our special guest as North Carolina jumps square into the middle of the ACC season with the first game Saturday, August the 31st in Keenan Stadium against Clemson. The Tigers will be coming to town for a game that's being brought to you locally by Barnes, Braswell, and Haithcock Attorneys at Law, American Express Financial Services, and Hooten Oil Quick Mart Stores. Join us for the game at 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon, August the 31st on WGBR.
And back to the phones quickly. Fort Clinton, Ohio. This is Bud. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hi, Rush. How you doing?
Hi. Good, sir.
As I said to Bo, this is the best performance of Les Miserables that I've ever seen. It has the usual, the poor kids, and all the tragedies that have beset this country for years, and they just keep playing it up and playing it up. The other point is that Al Gore, in his speech there, used the withering on the vine thing that Newt used.
Yeah, I know. They're going to keep doing that.
And my point is, my real point is a challenge to you. To me, all the things that the Democrats do sound like what I would call McCarthyism. They come out and say these things, they're lies, and the press prints them, and there's never a retraction. You've got to come up with somebody like a Gephardism, because that's what that kind of stuff is.
Well, you're illustrating here the problem that the Republicans have faced all along, and that's how to combat the lies. But you're right, they are engaging in their own kind of McCarthyism.
Can you believe a Kincaid solid cherry king-size bed for less than $900? Believe it at Jernigan Furniture. A Kincaid solid cherry king-size rice carved bed, list price $18.90, now only $899. Kincaid solid cherry queen and tables are a solid value at $199 to $279. A solid cherry home theater on sale now for only $11.99. Full or queen-size poster bed listing for $10.69. It's now only $499. That's less than half price. Matching nightstand only $2.99. Kincaid's Cherry Mountain Furniture, an incredible selection of solid cherry home furnishings. Buy the piece or buy the room. Save up to 46%. And while you're shopping at Jernigan's Furniture, look for sizzling summer savings on Restonic mattresses, too. From the Crown Royale at only $99 for the twin size to the Legend Collection with prices starting at $199. Ask about Jernigan's in-store credit terms. Jernigan Furniture, 2101 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR Goldsboro.
NBC Radio News. Just hours before President Clinton's to accept his party's renomination for president, a many scandals erupted. Democratic sources say top political consultant to the Clinton re-election campaign Dick Morris will resign. There are reports in a tabloid Morris was involved with a prostitute and allowed her to listen in on calls to the White House. Correspondent Carol Zimmer tells us why Morris has always been the White House wild card.
Dick Morris is a political consultant who has worked primarily for Republicans. He's credited with reshaping the president's re-election campaign by repositioning Clinton as more of a centrist who is focused on welfare reform and balancing the budget. But Morris has been a controversial figure within the White House and has been criticized by many of the president's more liberal aides.
Democratic Party co-chairman Christopher Dodd admits he's heard the allegations but says he knows nothing about them. I'm Barbara Porter.
John Madden, official color commentator for Ace Paint here. You know, Ace quality paint comes in hundreds of colors. Even stuff like salmon mousse, rich mustard, and bok choy, whatever that is. And right now, you can get the durable one-coat coverage of Ace 7-star interior satin latex for just $14.97 a gallon, or interior flat latex for just $12.97, which means no matter what color you choose, you'll save some green. Sale prices only at participating Ace hardware stores while supplies last.
The Goodyear sale you've been waiting for is back. Buy 3 selected Goodyear tires at the regular price and get the 4th tire free.
That's right.
Buy 3.
Get 1 free.
Goodyear Regatta,
Eagle,
RSA, Eagle GA, Wrangler Aquatred, and Wrangler RTS. Buy 3, get 1 free. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR for the participating retailer near you and ask about Goodyear's $40 manufacturer's rebate on a set of 4 Infinitread, our longest wearing radial. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR because this sale ends August 31st.
If you were due to give the speech of your life tonight, what would you be doing today? Correspondent Peter Mayer in Chicago tells us what President Clinton's doing ahead of tonight's acceptance speech.
The president spending the day huddling with speechwriters and nursing a raw throat after 5 days of shouting during his whistle-stop train tour. White House and campaign officials promise a mostly nonpartisan above-the-fray approach centering on tax break proposals and Clinton's vision for the future as he leaves this convention for his last campaign.
More on Clinton's homeowners tax break. It would allow people to avoid taxes on capital gains of up to $500,000 when they sell a home. No brakes on the economy in the second quarter. The economy was speeding along at the fastest pace in 2 years, growing nearly 5% from April to June with no sign of inflation. Still, the report will probably raise fears of higher interest rates, and analyst Hugh Johnson says it could give the Federal Reserve Board reason to think again about an interest rate hike.
Obviously, there's some reasons to believe that they may want to move before inflation starts to take hold. There are reasons to be worried or concerned about inflation. They're not perhaps as high as they were a month ago, but nevertheless, those reasons exist.
Mortgage rates were higher in July, but that didn't stop new home sales from shooting up nearly 8%. It was the highest level of new home sales in 5 months. O.J. Simpson's on a roll after a paid appearance at a black church in Washington, D.C. last night. He held a news conference today, Simpson lashing out at the media for how it handled reporting of his trial.
I want to know, what does some of these white pundits have to do? How many times do they have to be wrong before it costs them their job?
Simpson was welcomed by open arms at the black church with over 1,000 in attendance. On Wall Street, the Dow down 35.5 to 56.77. With NBC Radio News, I'm Barbara Porter.
Before you buy any stuffing, take the Make Sure It's Stovetop Stuffing test. 1. Check your box. Is it A, red with the yellow stovetop logo? B, doing stovetop impersonations? C, wearing a fake nose and mustache? 2. Whip up some stuffing. Do you? A, smell that warm, savory stovetop aroma. B, smell a rat that ain't stovetop. C, sense something is very wrong. If you got all A's, you've got the stuffing your family loves. Stovetop. Everything else is just stuff.
Where can you save on everything you need to paint and wallpaper your home?
Where to get it? Where to get it?
At Sherwin-Williams, where Thursday through Labor Day, you'll save 30 to 40% on everything in the store.
Where to get it?
Save 30% on the best paint and stain money can buy. Save 30% on all in-stock wallpaper. And save 40% on brushes and rollers.
Where to get it? Where to get it?
See store for details. Certain items not included. Some stores not open Labor Day.
Sherwin-Williams. Where to get it?
Price sells cars. Leaf Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, Eagle, Dodge, Isuzu has a brand new 96 Dodge or Plymouth Neon, only $169 a month. Sale priced at $11,495. A brand new 96 Plymouth Breeze, sale priced at $14,795, only $224 a month. Leaf also has great savings on program cars as well as pre-owned cars and trucks. Leaf, Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, Eagle, Dodge, Isuzu, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro. All prices plus NC sales tax tags and $178 dock fee.
You can certainly tell a transition has taken place in the weather department, a change for the better with more sunshine and less humidity. The forecast for this afternoon, plenty of sunshine around. We'll call it partly cloudy skies, high temperatures of 82 to 87. Then for tonight, fair to partly cloudy and wonderfully moonlit skies overnight, low temperatures of 61 to 66. Then on Friday, mostly sunny skies and only a few popcorn cumulus clouds around and high temperatures of 83 to 88. I'm meteorologist George Bridgers here in the Weather Center.
Yes, I do, ladies and gentlemen. I have more than that. I have more than it. I've got what it takes. I am Rush Limbaugh, and this is the Excellence in Broadcasting Network coming to you, ladies and gentlemen, as always, from high atop the EIB building in Midtown Manhattan, where we engage in our daily, relentless, unstoppable pursuit of the truth. We unmask the hypocrites of the liberal wing of the Democratic Party and let you know about it.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America, the way it ought to be. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Thanks, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny Donovan. Thanks, one and all. Our phone number is 1-800-282-2882. If you'd like to be with us on the phone, it's 800-282-2882. Al Gore has been featured prominently in this convention. And some wags are suggesting, the operative phrase here, it takes a village. It's actually not, it takes an indictment. They are living in great fear, ladies and gentlemen, that such an indictment will be forthcoming against the President or the First Lady, or anybody else that could be traced to them. In which case, Clinton has said, well, I'm going to make sure that Gore is perceived as my chosen heir, and that's why Gore is getting a lot of attention in this convention. His speech last night. Gore is going to speak again tonight, I think. And there are some wags who are suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, that the real purpose here is that if there is trouble shortly after the election, or if there is trouble shortly before the election, that, how do I say this, Al Gore has been prominently enough displayed so that he is on the fast track. Now, again, this is just what some people speculate based on the potential for trouble that's out there for Bill Clinton on the scandal side. So keep that in mind. I think it's fascinating. The Dick Morris resignation story continues to buzz all across the fruited plain. And you do have to wonder about the timing of this. Here's Morris on the cover of Time magazine this week. Morris single-handedly rescued Bill Clinton. Now, to make no mistake about this, my friends. Make no mistake about it. Dick Morris single-handedly rescued Clinton from his 39% approval rating in the polls with the policy suggestions that Clinton adopt, the triangulation strategy and all that. And here, this is the day that this convention has been, well, they say they've been building to. I would use a different word. This is the day they have been slinking toward or sinking to. And I'm talking about the tenor and the tone of these first three nights of the convention. And now on the day where Slick Willie is going to come out and just rev this hall to new heights and give them marching orders to go forward. What's the big story going to be all day long? Dick Morris, the guy who... And do you find this interesting? Dick Morris resigns and what's Clinton going to believe now? Who's going to tell Clinton what to do? Who's going to tell Clinton what to say? Doesn't it tell you something about what's been going on here? The press, unwittingly, I've been watching a little news here during some breaks, the press has talked about how important Morris was in defining Clinton. Wouldn't you think Clinton would define Clinton? And they're all speculating on how lost Clinton's going to be. And he could very well be. You just don't know. I want to go back now, as I promised, to some excerpts from last night's speech that have nothing to do with Al Gore and tobacco, or Al Gore and... by the way, speaking of that, we have just we've gone through Al Gore's book entitled Earth in the Balance. We looked in the index, and nothing in the index references smoking or tobacco or nicotine. We've also looked in chapters that we think it might be discussed, those items, and with a quick cursory analysis, we can't find any reference to smoking or tobacco or nicotine in Al Gore's Earth in the Lurch. Now, granted, it's an environmental book, and it talks about the coming environmental destruction. It's another one of these doom and gloom portrayals of the future. But the reason I thought it might be interesting to look at this is because some of you people out there think that there's no hypocrisy here. Al Gore's sister dies in '84. In '88, he goes to North Carolina, makes a speech to tobacco farmers, where he says in fact, let me tell you again. If you missed this in the first hour, I don't want you to miss this. You heard the speech last night. You heard everybody in that hall was crying huge tears. Guts were wrenched. Heartstrings were tugged. And Al Gore spent 7 minutes describing the death of his sister and what he thought, how it affected him. That was in 1984. 1988, Al Gore campaigning for president in the primaries goes to North Carolina, Tobacco State, for money and for votes. And he speaks to some tobacco farmers. 4 years after his sister passes away, he says, throughout most of my life, I raised tobacco. I want you to know that with my own hands, all of my life, I put it in the plant beds and transferred it. I've hoed it. I've dug in it. I've sprayed it. I've chopped it. I've shredded it, spiked it, put it in the barn, and stripped it and sold it. 4 years later. Now, last night he said that this death devastated him. He said that he pledged that from this day forward, he'll die until his dying breath, he's going to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. Now, it's 6 years later, 8 years later, from the speech in North Carolina. And in those 8 years, Al Gore wrote a book. And we thought, well, if he's grown and if he's really serious about this, and if that really had as much meaning to him as... And by the way, there is, at the beginning of the book, there is a reference to how horrible he felt when his son was run over and hit by a car. And it's a very touching story, and it's designed to have brought the family together and so forth. But there's no mention of his sister's death. There's no mention of tobacco. There's no mention of nicotine. There's no mention of the environmental destruction associated with smoking or the environmental destruction associated with raising tobacco or anything of the sort. Now, if it was that serious an issue, if it had as much impact on him as he mentioned last night, he's written this book about the future. Is it reasonable to assume there would be a reference? Some of you will say, no, come on, Rush, you're stretching. I'm not stretching. I'm simply giving you information. You make the call. You decide whether or not you got a dose of hypocrisy last night or whether or not you got something that was honest and sincere. Ask yourself this. Ask yourself if Bob Dole had not made the statements he's made about being unsure of the addictive qualities of nicotine, if they'd even be making a big deal about this at all. Okay, let's take a break here, Mr. Momola, a little bit early, but we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll play a clip of Bill Clinton on 60 Minutes a couple weeks ago, and then more Al Gore from the convention last night. Don't go away.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You have heard me talk about Snappy, the remarkable product that grabs video and instantly transfers it as a still image on your PC. Now, Snappy was invented by an exciting young company, Play Incorporated. Their objective, the creation of great new products for the next millennium. You just got to have one of these Snappies. These guys have solved a problem that has plagued PC users since the invention of the PC. How to get high-quality images from video onto your PC easily and affordably. Now, Snappy's about the size of the palm of your hand. It plugs into the back of your computer and allows you to take video from your camcorder, your VCR, or your television. You choose a video image, just snap it, and you use it on greeting cards, newsletters, or post them on the internet. Literally thousands of uses. And Snappy sells for just $199. Snappy is available at your local Computer City and other stores that sell Play products. Find out more about Play and Snappy by visiting them on the web at www.play.com or call them. The number is 800-306-PLAY.
This is Vanna White. You know, I couldn't get through my busy day without a good night's sleep, so I sleep on a back supporter mattress from Spring Air, the creators of Sleep Fitness. Spring Air recognizes that just like exercising and eating right, deep, restful sleep is essential for good health. And now's your chance to save big on the Sleep Fitness mattress that Consumers Digest rated Best Buy during Spring Air's Best Buy Pillow Top Mattress Sale. So stop by your local Spring Air retailer today. But hurry, this sale won't last long.
Often in today's world, it's difficult for a small business to provide quality benefits to their employees like insurance. But the folks at Brewer Insurance in Mount Olive can help owners and employees in any size business. Brewer Insurance is a professional agency that you can trust with all your insurance needs and questions. They have employees benefit plans, property and business liability, workman's comp, and bonds. Call Brewer Insurance today at 658-8585 and start your insurance relationship with trust. Brewer Insurance, 133 North Center Street, Mount Olive. Good day, Mr. Phelps. This is a photograph of James Finch Chevrolet. Notice the trunk department. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take your team to the truck department at James Finch Chevrolet. You'll see all the new Chevrolet trucks. Test drive them. The new S10s, the pickups, the Astrovans, the Blazers, the Suburbans, all of them. There's a reason, Jim, why more people are buying new trucks from James Finch Chevrolet, and we must find out why. We know they have a great selection. Check out the finance plans and leasing arrangements. You'll probably want one of these new pickups for yourself. We'll allow that. When you have this information, report back to me. They're at 400 West Main Street in Bailey, LBJ Chevrolet Buick in Nashville, and Finchwood Chevrolet in Roanoke Rapids. Good luck, Jim. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. James Finch Chevrolet, where the impossible is possible.
The Labor Day holiday is a time to enjoy family, cookouts, and good times. Earl Cox and the staff at AmeriGas wish for everyone a safe, happy holiday. And don't forget, if part of your celebration is a cookout, the gas grill and propane can meet your requirements in grand style. Just call AmeriGas and enjoy your holiday more. And remember, the folks at AmeriGas hope you'll join them in reaffirming a belief in the work ethic, which has made this the greatest nation in the world. AmeriGas, 2931 North William Street, Goldsboro.
Wayne County's news and Limbaugh leader. 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
By the way, if you're trying to call us, ladies and gentlemen, and ask us whether or not we know anything about the Dick Morris resignation, we had that about, an hour ago, and have analyzed it through and through. And one of the most important questions I have, especially, when I think about things like this, I envision New York liberals, because I've gotten to know these people over the 8 years that I have lived among them, my friends. And it can be liberals anywhere, but New York liberals especially, because remember when the Jennifer Flowers and all that stuff came up, hey, come on, drop that stuff. That doesn't matter. Character, those issues, what does it have to do with the issues? It has nothing to do with the issues. So who cares who sleeps with who? It doesn't matter to us. The fact that he's going to bring us back, that's what matters. It's the issues that count. So, why is Morris resigning? What's the big deal? If it doesn't matter who's sleeping with who, why should Dick Morris feel embarrassed about this? I mean, he may have some trouble with his wife, I can understand that, but what's so bad here? After all, the guy at the top has set the example. Character doesn't matter. If it's okay at the top to engage in this kind of stuff, how come everybody underneath who engages in this kind of stuff? I mean, the guy, Dick Morris, is running around with a hooker, call girl, and telling her all sorts of secrets about the campaign and everything. If that, why should he resign? I mean, gee whiz, did you hear what Clinton said about Mario Cuomo? He agreed with Jennifer Flowers on tape when Flowers, he said, Cuomo reminds me of a mafia guy. Yeah, I know what you mean. I just don't understand why the hypocrisy here. You liberals, you like to say what's good for one is good for all, but it's really not true. There's no reason Dick Morris should have to resign over this. This is no big deal. This is just a meaningless character issue. All right, let's go back to 60 Minutes. President Bill Clinton on August 18th said this.
But in the last several years, we've gotten way too far off, I think, into just personal destruction. And when I received reports about the Republican convention, I told our people, I said, I do not want any snide remarks made about any of those people. I don't want any sort of negative personal asides. I don't want anybody saying, well, why haven't you worked on them the way you worked on us? I don't want to hear that. I want this to be about ideas, not insults.
Ideas. Can somebody name for me an idea that you can remember from this Democratic convention? I mean, a campaign political idea. Can you remember one? I don't. And who said snide things about him anyway at that convention? They're all talking about Kay Bailey Hutchison, but as far as I'm concerned, what she did is play Clinton videos himself. I mean, it was his words that did him in. George Bush complimented his wife. Everybody said, that's an attack on Hillary. And some other people were complimenting Liddy Dole. That's an attack on Hillary. And all these attacks on Hillary anyway. She's placed herself in play. She has taken on the issues. She is got an agenda. Unelected, unaccountable, a lot of power. She's put herself out there. Why isn't she fair game to be opposed? because it is her ideas, Mr. President, that people oppose. It precisely is her ideas. And with Dick Morris not around, you get back to what you really think, it's your ideas that people really oppose. Well, now back to Al Gore. Al Gore and what we're dubbing here the Crimea River speech last night at the Democratic National Convention. The president says he doesn't want any snide remarks about any of those people, meaning the Republicans, from the Democrats at the Democratic Convention. So let's listen to Al Gore last night when he said a number of things. Here's one of the things he said.
They passed their reckless plan and then demanded that President Clinton sign it. They shut the government down twice because they thought Bill Clinton would buckle under the pressure.
Stop the tape.
Wither in the...
They didn't shut the government down. Bill Clinton shut the government down in a deal made with the federal employees, workers, unions, ladies and gentlemen. Papers have been published that document this. We announced it when we got wind of it. They went to the president and said, look, anything to keep the Republicans from succeeding. If you want to oppose them and shut the government down, we'll go along with you. And these meetings happened in September of 1995, September of 1995. Long before the government was ever shut down. Clinton had a tacit agreement with these people. The Newt Gingrich shut the government down. Like Carville's out there saying, he shut the government down because he didn't like having to get off the back of the airplane on Air Force One. That's what he said. He got his nose out of joint over that. That's not. I thought we weren't going to have any of these attacks. Anyway, go back to this, Al Gore. Resume it now.
In the face of their attacks, cave in to their demands. But they did not know the true measure of this man.
We didn't know Dick Morris.
He never flinched or wavered. He never stooped to their level, and of course, he never attacked his opponent's wife.
Oh, there you have it. By the way, Ted Kennedy's going to speak tonight. I want you guys to tape it. I want everybody taping Ted Kennedy. You never know what we're going to get. Back, grab that. I'm in the mood to hear that. He's going to be introducing somebody tonight, and it's going to be fun to hear if he has those kinds of remarks. Of course, he never attacked his opponent's wife. Nobody else has attacked his opponent's wife. We oppose Mrs. Clinton's ideas. I know they think I'm responsible for Hillary's negatives. Ann Lewis said it in a newspaper story. Why are there such negatives about Mrs. Clinton? She said, ask Rush Limbaugh. I don't know how many times I've made the point. I don't care a whit about Mrs. Clinton's, except her ideas. It's her ideas, her National Socialist ideas that everybody opposes. The fact that she has all this unaccountability. I mean, she's become an activist with this, and as such, she placed herself in the arena. She's playing with the big boys, and as such, they're going to be criticized. I mean, she's an advocate for the domestic policies of this administration. I'll guarantee if Nancy Reagan or Barbara Bush had been out there doing these kinds of things, the Democrats would have launched salvos aimed on the issues, too. Anyway, so there were no snide comments that's supposed to be made. We've now shown you Al Gore with one. Here's another Al Gore comment from the convention.
They want to give health insurance ripoff artists a license to change Medicare to let this program for our seniors wither on the vine. That's why they want to replace Bill Clinton. But we won't let them.
Apparently, ladies and gentlemen, Al Gore has noted that Bill Clinton did not admonish Democrats to tell the truth. He didn't say anything about telling lies. You go ahead and tell all the lies you want, just don't attack them personally. Well, the personal attacks are out there, and the lies are too. Once again, the wither on the vine Medicare scare tactic. And health insurance ripoff artists a license to change Medicare. Is Medicare being ripped off now? Are there rip-off artists in scamming Medicare now, Mr. Snerdley? I ask you. Yes, there are. And the Republicans haven't even gotten their hands on this. It's just classic, my friends. Here's another statement from Al Gore, violating the president's admonition to avoid snide remarks about any of those people.
They want to outlaw all affirmative action and many other measures to reach out to those who want to reach up. That's why they want to replace Bill Clinton, but we won't let them.
No, we don't want to do anything with affirmative action that would hurt people. We want to save people. We love people, and we want people to reach new heights. But it's not fair, Mr. Vice President, to shift discrimination from one group to the next and say we're being equal. You don't end discrimination by transferring discrimination from one group to the next. We're talking the essence of fairness here. Here's one more, ALGORE. I got a couple more, see if we can squeeze them both in. Here's the next one.
They want to cut education and undermine our schools. Put down teachers.
Stop it. They want to undermine education, or cut education, undermine our schools. I'm going to tell you who's undermining our schools. It's the National Education Association, folks. We just told you last 2 days, $2.5 billion for a literacy program. You know who's going to go into these schools and teach these third graders to read? The AmeriCorps volunteers. Got to give them something to do. They're volunteers. They got all this, the domestic Peace Corps. We got nothing for them to do other than pick up trash on the highway. We're going to have prisoners do that. Michael Irvin see you on the streets. So we're going to send these. Are the teachers insulted? Do you think a teacher would be insulted? A person that goes to school, learns how to be a teacher, has to, in many cases, walk through a metal detector to get into the classroom. And here comes a volunteer in to teach a third grader to read. You think the NEA would be mad about that? Ask any other union guy or gal if a volunteer coming in to do their job is going to be welcomed. It ain't gonna happen. But is the NEA upset? No, the NEA is not upset, because what this represents is the expansion of government, and that's their number one priority, the expansion of government. And so here is the president, in order, third graders can't read. They're already in school. And he accuses the Republicans, who haven't done beans yet, of destroying the education system. And with his own program, he is admitting it's in a shambles. And who's been in charge of it? His pals. Who gave us this education system? 30 years of liberal, 40 years of liberal, democratic rule. Want to cut education, undermine our schools, put down teachers instead of lifting up students. See, I tell you, a few people watched this last night. How much longer are you going to sit here and take being characterized this way? You Republicans. You dastardly, mean destroyers. All you have on your agenda and on your mind is destruction. One more. Go ahead and play. We got time. Try it.
They want to give free rein to lobbyists for the biggest polluters in America to rewrite our environmental laws, allowing more poison in our air and water, and then auction off our natural wonders.
There you get it. You want dirty water and you want dirty air, ladies and gentlemen. You want to poison your fellow citizens. Snide comments, huh?
Hi, I'm David Orick, and I want you to take the Orick Challenge. I'll send you my 8-pound Orick XL hotel vacuum to use for 15 days, and I'll send you an extra bag. Now I want you to vacuum your oldest, dirtiest, most worn-out carpet with your present vacuum, and then vacuum it again with my 8-pound Orick XL. Cut open the bag, and I guarantee you'll find the dirt the other vacuum left behind. See for yourself. Call 1-800-842-8900. That's 1-800-842-8900. And take the Orick Challenge. It won't cost you a dime.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
For WGBR News, I'm Thomas Vick. North Carolina District 11 House candidate Phil Bedore has asked Governor Jim Hunt to join the tobacco industry's lawsuit against the Federal Drug Administration. Bedore says President Clinton and the FDA are wrong in their attempt to regulate nicotine as a drug. District 11 incumbent Lewis Pate, who Bedore is running against in November, says Bedore, in his attempt to stop this regulation, should take another route, endorsing Bob Dole for president. Pate says when Clinton is voted out of office, the attack on tobacco will stop. The Mount Olive Town Board has approved an increase in the town's water service deposit requirements for renters. Those who rent residential property in the town will now have to pay a $75 deposit instead of the previous $30 deposit to get their water turned on. Mayor B.R. Huggins says the rate increase was approved in order to offset losses to the town in the past which were caused by renters who left the town holding their water bill. Huggins says the increase is not a penalty. All citizens have to do to get it back is pay their water bill. Almost 70 employers, some from as far away as Missouri and Florida, will attend a job fair from 10 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon on September 5th at the Seymour Johnson Air Force Base's Officers Club. The job fair is sponsored by the Family Support Center's Career Focus Program. We're expecting a huge turnout, Ollie Foster of the Public Relations Department said. From the person seriously looking for a job to someone who might just be testing the job market waters, this is really a great opportunity. Attendees can hand out their resumes, talk with representatives, and find out firsthand what job opportunities are available. It really doesn't get any easier than this, having the employers come right here on the base, Foster said. Attendees should wear civilian clothes suitable for a job interview and bring several copies of their resume. The daily average on the Goldsboro market yesterday continued its upward trend as predicted by Goldsboro Tobacco Market Sales Supervisor Bill Parker. Yesterday on the market, 424,221 pounds were sold for $782,455.33. Yesterday's daily average ended at $184.45. I'm Thomas Vick for WGBR News.
We've got an incredible afternoon on tap in the weather department as compared to the previous few days, and tomorrow looks even better. The forecast for this afternoon, plenty of sunshine around. We'll call it partly cloudy skies and high temperatures of 82 to 87. Then for tonight, fair to partly cloudy, moonlit skies overnight and low temperatures of 61 to 66. Then on Friday, mostly sunny skies and only a few fair weather cumulus clouds lingering around and high temperatures of 83 to 88. I'm meteorologist George Bridgers here in the Weather Center.
From around the world and the nation and in the neighborhood, your news and talk leader, 1150 WGBR.
Back we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rush Limbaugh, the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. While I'm talking about education here, I made a point earlier of the teachers' union power. And all you liberals out there, and you know who you are, you hate corporations and get too powerful and mean and evil. And that they're the ones that really run the country. That these multinationals run the world, and you are nothing but a little peon in the big game. Let me ask you a question. What corporation, what big, powerful corporation could prevent parents being able to choose the schools their children attend? I can't think of a corporation, but the National Education Association can stop parents from choosing which schools their children attend. What group of corporations could prevent charter schools? I can't think of any corporations that could prevent charter schools, but the National Education Association, the teachers union, can prevent charter schools. What international corporation could kill a school voucher test in the desperate inner city of Washington, D.C.? I don't know of a multinational New World Order corporation that could stop that, but the National Education Association did. The left-wing liberals keep warning you about the dangers of business, greedy business, selfish business. They have more control, more power, more say over your life than they should. While they're scaring America to near death with Medicare cuts, right-wing name-calling, Mr. Newt, and all that, these people are the ones that are stopping parents from being able to choose which schools their parents attend. Who has all this power? The National Education Association, a union. It is not a corporation. It doesn't produce jobs. It doesn't produce a product. And more, it's not even producing results. As evidenced by the fact, I can't believe these people are not insulted. I really can't believe the NEA is not outraged at this insult. I am insulted for some of you teachers. Some of you teachers do a bang-up job. In fact, I'd say most. And all of a sudden, here's the President of the United States, third graders can't read. Well, what this means is that the first and second grade teachers we've got stink. They're rotten. So we're going to send in the AmeriCorps volunteers to teach these kids to read. We've got to fix our problem. Investors Business Daily has a little story here on page A3 today. President Clinton would raise taxes and fees on business by $8.5 billion over 6 years to pay for this new literacy initiative and the other programs that he's announcing this week on his way to Chicago. The increased taxes and fees are outlined in a White House fact sheet that was distributed to reporters traveling with the president on his train. Now, thank the Lord for the Investors Business Daily and the Bloomberg News Service here, because I read my usual complement of newspapers today. I read nothing about this tax increase. But apparently the White House passed it out to a bunch of reporters, and I don't know about you, I've not seen it on the news, I've not heard a word about it other than in the Investors Business Daily, actually yesterday. And I just got a fax copy of it today. The biggest chunk of the new revenue, $5.3 billion, would come from increasing taxes on the foreign sales of multinational corporations by changing the formula